So let me tell you about this bill. I'm going to ask some questions. On the immigration side, Senator Sanders said that this bill creates millions of new green cards for people here illegally. So here's a question. If we told the world that in the budget reconciliation we're going to increase millions of green cards for people here illegally, do you think that would entice more people to come here illegally? Here's what I think. I think that's the dumbest idea I could think of. In the middle of an invasion of this country by illegal immigrants, the Democratic Party, through budget reconciliation, is going to authorize millions of new green cards for people here illegally. It's in your document. Senator Sanders admitted that. Here's what's happening as I speak. These statements are being translated into Spanish and every other language, and human traffickers all over the world are going to let the word get out that, hey, the Senate is about to increase the number of green cards available for illegal immigrants. Why don't you go and get in line? Nobody's asked the Border Patrol, how do you think this would affect our illegal immigration problem? Have you spent 15 minutes talking to anybody at the border about what this policy change would do to a broken immigration system? I guarantee you haven't, because if you talk to anybody with common sense on the border, they would tell you the last thing you need to do right now is incentivize more illegal immigration by allocating green cards to people here already illegally. What's happened in the last 6 months? A 262% increase compared to last year. Does any Democrat have any idea what's happening here? Have any of you came to the floor to explain to the American people what the hell's going on at the border? You don't have a clue. You don't care. The same people who are writing this budget resolution to spend $4 trillion on a liberal wish list are the same people in charge of the border. They haven't asked one Border Patrol professional the effect of this bill on a broken immigration system. We've had 1.2 million people come to the country illegally already. Let's compare that to last year's. A 262% increase. Illegal crossings by unaccompanied minors have surged 186% compared to last year. Why? The Biden administration has kept the COVID deportation Title 42 law in place, but it's made exception by unaccompanied minors. If you're a certain age, you can stay. Guess what? The human traffickers have found that out, and word is out all over the Northern Triangle countries, but really the world. We've had a 186% increase in unaccompanied minors because of policy changes made by the Biden administration. 27% of unaccompanied minors recently deported tested positive for COVID-19. How many of the unaccompanied minors have been released into the country? Of the 1.2 million people who have come here legally, how many of them have been released? How many of them have been tested? How many of them positive for COVID? Nobody knows these numbers because nobody seems to have a clue of what to do about it. So what are the trends? Look at this chart. Look at 2020 compared to 18, 19, and 20. An explosion of illegal immigrants. 1.2 million almost. Year to date, in 2020, we had 458,000. A 260% increase in illegal crossings at the border because the Biden administration did away with the Remain in Mexico policy, so asylum claims are through the roof. We're allowing unaccompanied children to stay as an exception to Title 42, along with families. And guess what? You have an explosion of illegal immigrant crossings in this country. If you pass this budget resolution the way Senator Sanders described, you're going to throw jet fuel on this. this number will go through the friggin' roof. Every human trafficker in the world is going to get the word out throughout the world. They're increasing the number of green cards made available to illegal immigrants in America. Come now, the time is right. What a dangerous idea, but it's part of this grand new vision for America. Let me tell you about this vision for America. Open borders, dropping people by the thousands off into the interior of the United States, not adequately tested, enticing young people to take a very dangerous journey, destroying all the gains we had, stopping a wall that was almost built. That's the vision being created by the budget resolution and then some. The idea of increasing green cards for illegal immigrants already here will make these numbers explode beyond what they are already exploding. Only God knows. Has anyone told you the price at the pump? Has anybody mentioned to you on the other side, what is the cost of this bill when we implement climate change reforms to you as a consumer? Senator Markey, who's a very passionate believer in climate change, said the Green New Deal is part of the DNA of this bill. Senator Sanders is an avowed socialist, one of the most honest people in this building. Senator Sanders' vision for the last 20 and 30 years is in this budget resolution. This budget resolution is a dream for those who want to socialize America. It's a nightmare for working people. How much has gas prices gone up in the last 6 months? $1. Here's what I think. If you implement the provisions of this budget resolution regarding climate change, you're declaring war on the internal combustion engine. You're going to shut down coal-fired plants in rural America. The question I have for my Democratic colleagues, how much will gas prices go up if this bill becomes reality? How much will your heating bill go up because you shut down supply? How has there been an increase of $1 at the pump? Policy matters. I dare say that if this bill ever is implemented, you're going to double gas prices. I hope you're listening out there, America. If they implement this radical transformation of our energy economy, you're going to have a dramatic increase of gas prices and heating prices. This is the worst thought-out idea I've ever seen. They're just throwing every liberal idea and hope it sticks to the wall, and their whole reason for being on the left is in this bill. There's a border-adjusted carbon tax proposal floating around out there. What does that mean to you? What the hell is a border-adjusted carbon tax? The best I can understand, it's going to be a tax on products coming into the country because the way the product was made is not sufficiently green enough. So they're going to charge for that product, put a tax on it at the border. Guess what? That's going to increase the cost of whatever good we're talking about. And where do you think that cost goes? It goes to you. This is the most inflationary idea I've ever seen. We've had 5.4% increase in inflation recently, wiping out all the gains in the economy. How could that be? You're spending money like drunken sailors, and if this bill ever becomes law, if it's ever implemented, and there's a border-adjusted carbon tax, it's going to be passed on to the consumer. If you're on a fixed income, this whole idea is a nightmare for you because your gas prices are going to go up, your heating bill is going to go up, and all the things that they're going to make for free will create an inflationary effect. The size of the government is going to increase dramatically. Interest rates will have to go up. So if you own a home, you drive a car, you breathe air, get ready for more taxes and more spending. All I can say is that I believe in climate change, and I'd like to have a rational approach to solving the problem, but this is not rational, this is partisan, and this $4.2 trillion bill, it's not 3.5, is going to lead to a wave of illegal immigration, the likes of which you've never seen before. A 262% increase in the last 6 months. If this bill, this idea ever becomes reality, you can double that. If this bill ever becomes reality, a $1 increase in gas prices are going to be the good old days. If they shut down all the coal-fired plants without any way to replace it other than a bunch of BS, good luck with a heating bill. They're going to change your country. It's going to be more like Venezuela and less like America. This idea is going to be paid for by taxing the rich is a bunch of BS. If you took the entire wealth of the 1%, including their cars and their dogs, it's less than half we need to deal with the entitlement problems we already have. And you're growing exponentially the size of government. More government to pay for. Eventually, interest rates are going to have to go up. You're putting in motion, I think, the demise of America as we know it. You're putting in motion a government that nobody's grandchild can ever afford to pay. You're putting in motion the destruction of energy independence. You've declared war on the fossil fuel industry in this country. And you've not done a damn thing about China, India, Russia, or Iran. So the bottom line here is if you believe in energy independence, then you need to vote against this budget resolution because we'll lose it. If you believe that inflation is a death blow to the middle class, you need to vote against this budget resolution. If you don't know how much gas prices are going to be increased, they owe you an answer. So I'm going to ask this question for the next 15 hours. Do you have any idea, if all this becomes reality, how much increase at the pump will be affected by the average consumer in the next year? How much will our heating bills go up? As to the border-adjusted carbon tax, will it be inflationary? Where does the money go from the tax? Who gets it? Little details like this. All I can say is that everybody has a dream in America. There's the American dream and the American socialist dream for America. This budget resolution sets in motion an assault on free enterprise, the destruction of energy independence, incentivizing illegal immigration at a time we can afford it the least. If you don't believe these things, then you haven't read what's in this blueprint. Have you ever asked yourself the question, what the hell has happened in the last 6 months? Why are we up $1 a gallon at the pump? Because they've declared war on fossil fuels made in America. Why do we have a 262% increase in illegal immigration? Because they changed all the policies that worked at the border. Why is inflation rising? Because the fiscal policies of the Biden administration and our friends on the left are driving up prices. The worst is yet to come. If this budget resolution becomes a reality, God help the American middle class, we'll be less energy dependent. Our money will go not nearly as far. You're going to have to dramatically raise taxes if you intend to pay for this monstrosity. And some Democrats have said it's got to be paid for. There's no way in hell to pay for this bill unless you fundamentally raise taxes across the board. At a time we're struggling to get back on our feet. So this is why we have elections. In 2022, this idea will be on the ballot. And my goal and my Republican colleagues is to fight like hell to stop the increase at the pump, stop an increase of your heating bills, and to stop an invasion of our country by illegal immigrants, all driven by bad policy choices. But everything they've done in the last 6 months pales in comparison to what they're going to do for this country if this budget resolution ever becomes a reality. So yes, sir, we're going to have one hell of a fight. I don't know how long we're going to be here, but as long as it takes. America is worth fighting for. And America, as we know her, is at risk through this budget resolution. Thank you.